Hello, hello, Facebook. I hope everyone is doing well today. And I'm just going to get this all ready here. So just one second. And thanks for tuning in. We're going to be going over breast health today. So that is exciting, of course. Let me move this to the side. I am not the best at trying to answer questions at the same time that I'm talking, so I don't lose my train of thought sometimes. So if there's any questions, you're welcome to put them in the comments, and I'll do my best to give you the answers or resources and that kind of thing that you're looking for. And so that will be great. So this is a very stressful topic. I love stress away oil, and there's also peace and calming that someone may like. And so these are a couple of oils that I would use personally on myself to just deal with this kind of topic in general. And so let me just keep this going here. Hold on, make sure it's showing up. Okay, where are we at? I was actually just trying to do this on Zoom and it did not work. So that is a bummer. So I'll have to figure out how to record this later. So anyhow, let's just get going and people can catch it the replay or whatnot. So today we're going to be talking about breast health care, and I am excited to start bringing to you live education daily, Monday through Friday, and I'll try to have it at a set time. This week it's going to be at 1 p.m. Eastern time. And I wanted to make sure, I meant to do this a couple weeks ago, but just hadn't got the time, but talk about breast health just in general because of the month that we're in, October. And that is, Breast Awareness Month. And so we want to do that. This is actually a class for male and females, and regarding your unborn children and everyone in between. So this is something that we all can contract, and there's ways that we can help ourselves not get breast cancer. And of course, that's what we want to talk about. So as usual, this is a sensitive topic. There's a lot of different thought processes on this, a lot of fear behind this, of course, rightfully so. And all of us have known somebody, whether through a friend or a family or someone personally, that has had breast cancer. And so that's a scary thing. I've had my own bouts with breast concerns, with lumps and different things that I have had to treat. I was able to manage these things naturally, so that was a blessing. Although everyone doesn't have that opportunity. So whether you're someone who's already had breast cancer or doesn't want to get it or in the middle of it, there's something here for all of you, because what you can do is learn how to make better choices, which is always what I'm about. And I don't even have it right here, but if you don't have it already or don't know, my name is Stacey Kimbrell, and I wrote Living Balanced. It's a book on health and nutrition and chemical awareness. And a lot of this goes over all the different things of our lifestyle and our diet, of things that we should be looking at to make better choices in and change because of what's going on that most likely we're just not aware of. So once again, I've had, unfortunately, a family member pass away from cancer, and it's not breast cancer. Nevertheless, it's still the same thing. And so my heart goes out to anyone who's lost anyone from anything, any death or illness and disease, including breast cancer. But there's some exciting information that we have to share that can help you moving forward in the future. So I'll be giving you a handout of all of this so you can have it, research it yourself and everything. So everything I'm teaching about today, you will have a link or a handout to support the information. Okay. So let's just get started. If you need to, if you got some oils, just get them on. So this is Peace and Calming. It's one of my favorite oils. You just can breathe it in, rub it on your chest, whatever. And we'll just get going. So, okay, this is really important. Per the American Cancer Society, so I say this is the horse's mouth. This is where we get all of our information from, the American Cancer Society. This is for US. I have some Canadian stats as well because I have some Canadian friends that most likely will be watching this at some point, so I'll give you those stats as well. So per the American Cancer Society, 1 out of 8 women will develop breast cancer, okay? And this is really important to be aware of. The stats from 2020, just want to make sure I read this correctly. Uh, about 42,000, a little over 42,000 people um, will die in 2020. 42,000 people will die of breast cancer, although there's over almost 300,000 that are diagnosed. Okay. And that's a scary number just in general. And the point with the American Cancer Society with the Canadian Cancer Society, the numbers are a little bit different. It says 1 out of 33 will die in cancer, and of a estimate 26 plus women will be diagnosed with breast cancer, and 5,000 will die in Canada. That's the projection. Okay. So let me tell you what the American Cancer Society and the Canadian Society says about cancer and who gets it. So only 5 to 10% of all cancer for all ages, races, and genders. Okay? So whether you're an infant or 2 or 90, no matter what race you are and no matter what sex you are, only 5 to 10% of all cancer is genetic. So that is something that is like really outrageous and astounding number. So you're like, where do we get all these things from? This is what we're going to be going over. And this is a 3-part series. So it's today, tomorrow, and the next day. Okay. So this is the concern that if up to 95% of all cancer is on lifestyle and environment per the American Cancer Society, that means that we should be able to have the opportunity to change the outcome of what's going on. If we can corrupt our DNA, because up to 95 of us don't have a cancer marker for your genes, your genetic pool for your DNA. And somehow we've given this to ourselves unknowingly by what we breathe in or what we put on our skin or what we drink or eat and all the different ways, what we take internally from medications or radiations or whatever the case may be, okay? We have the ability to change the outcome of that. And so that is the blessing of this talk. If you're already in that situation or if you've already had chemo and radiation, there's things that you can do with the list I'm going to go through in a second to help you to not have reoccurring bouts of it. Okay. So that's the goal here for no matter where we're all at in this walk of this situation, there's something that all of us can become aware of and do. Now, by all means, if this is all brand new information to you, it's going to be a shocker. Okay. It was a shocker from when I learned about this stuff 13 years ago. I thought it was totally rubbish. I thought there's no way that our government could be aware of certain of these things, but believe me, they are. Pharmaceutical companies are, food manufacturers are, lotion and potion people are. So they're aware of this. It depends if they get caught, whether they have to change what they're doing. And so now we want to impart some knowledge on us so we can make a better choice. So my favorite verse, if you're into that, is Hosea 4:6. It says, my people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. And then I add to that, not for a lack of love, not for lack of prayer, not for lack of faith, but for a lack of knowledge. So today I'm going to impart some knowledge on you. So I just pray that you can receive this information the way that it's intended, which is just out of a pure heart to help everyone out. Okay? So if we know that up to 95% of all cancer is on lifestyle choices and the environment, we have the opportunity to change that. John Hopkins said that a study, this is John Hopkins, women low in progesterone have an 80% higher rate of risk of breast cancer. That's really important. And it's really important to understand because we're supposed to have a certain amount of balanced hormones, which I'm going to give you what blood work you should ask your doctor for later on, and then what levels should be according to an endocrinologist, okay? The hormone estrogen, which males and females need more than men, but we still only need a certain amount. 80% of breast cancers are fueled by estrogen, dominant of estrogen. Most of the estrogen that we're getting is not natural from our body. it is because of what we're doing unknowingly, and it's called zytoestrogens. It's synthetic estrogens that we're consuming just totally unaware of. So this is how we're going to give you some knowledge today, okay? So the first thing is, and I know this is hard because um, all of us like what we like. If you just learned about this, I learned about this when I was 38. And of course, I was used to eating my Suzy Q's, which were delicious, my Doritos. I love my Diet Coke. The list just goes on of everything else. The only thing I ever did right with feeding my children, I will tell you, is never gave them soda. They were 8 and 12 when we learned about health and nutrition and chemical awareness, but that is the only thing that I can tell you that I ever gave them that was straight. Everything else was from a box, a bag, a can, in the microwave, all that kind of stuff, which we all know is vitamin and enzyme deficient if it comes in those forms, right? So no real live food, okay? So here we are. We have to eat to live, okay? Not live to eat, which is normally what our society is, and that's called the standard American diet, which is the SAD diet. We eat to live. We eat healthy, nutritious food. If you have a plate, I always tell my son, half of it should look like the rainbow colors, at least a minimum. It should be really 80%, but at least half. Let's just go there. And the rest of it should not look like skin color from any nationality. So if it's brown, if it's tan, white, whatever it is, it's probably not right. Okay. There's been a processing and a packaging that's gone along with it. And of course, all the complex carbohydrate foods, the starchy based foods with excess amounts of rice and pasta and cookies and cakes and all those kind of things that break down into sugar, even potatoes and squashes and different things. Now obviously there's going to be better choices in those things, right? But they still are going to break down into sugar, complex carbohydrates in your body. So you can just Google complex carbohydrates and it'll give you a list of them. And so green pepper would be better than pasta, obviously, right? So you're always trying to make better choices. Not that you can't have some of those things, but it'd be definitely in moderation. You have to drink half your body weight in ounces of water. This is so important. I can't tell you how many people do not drink enough water. So if this is your water glass and you know that you weigh 220 pounds and that means you have to drink 3 of these a day, then make sure you do that. And if you're used to drinking no water, or maybe only 1 glass and you need at least 5 a day, then go ahead and this next week just start drinking 2 glasses of water. And then the next week start drinking 3 glasses so you don't feel like you're drowning yourself. But whatever you do, you got to make a better choice and start consuming good, clean water and at least half your body weight in ounces of water a day. Of course, there's variations for that. If you're in sweltering heat or you're running a marathon or you're breastfeeding, of course, you should have some more. If you're thirsty still, it'd still be a better choice to drink water and not soda or something else, of course, right? I don't believe in alcohol, which we'll talk about second. I don't believe in soda and I don't believe in coffee beverages. Or soda pop for those who want to be particular. And so, we all have to learn about making better choices and what they're doing to our body, which may be for a little bit of another class, but nevertheless, that's my thoughts on that. Eating, once again, a well-balanced diet with rich antioxidant foods that are full of color are very crucial to help maintaining good health, homeostasis in your body, which is complete good health. Avoiding chemicals and overprocessed foods, cans, bags, boxed, a better choice would be frozen than fresh, providing it's not from Jolly Green Giant with all the poisonous seasonings already on it. So we want to make sure of that. GMO food, I don't participate in, and by choice, and it's not something you should participate in yourself, in my opinion. GMO is genetically modified organisms. They have genetically made a seed and changed the outcome of it. And when God created this world, he spoke all these plants and seeds into existence on the 3rd day. They have the ability to reproduce themselves. If you have an apple with seeds, you can plant that seed. And if you do it right and you water it and there's some sun, something will grow. So when we have seedless fruit, which is very nice and not annoying to eat, correct? Although it doesn't mean it's right. If a food cannot reproduce itself, that's a problem. That is not how God created it. And we need to think about what we're eating, because what is on and in that food. Okay. When I used to work at Blue Shield in California, I was part of medical management. I worked in the healthcare field for 14 years prior to learning about health and nutrition, chemical awareness, natural medicine options, and all that. Didn't believe in anything with food and natural medicines at all either at that time. And so, all the time, all the requests to come in for people with deformities being born out of the migrant workers who worked in the fields, they're just being heavily sprayed, that they're breathing in, they're touching, it's absorbing through their skin, all these different things. Kids with multiple sex organs, missing limbs. There is not, there's only one reason for this. It's really important to become aware of, the old name was Monsanto. They keep changing their names, so people try to they try to lose the track for people on their butt, let's say. But GMO, Bayer aspirin, Bayer company, excuse me, Monsanto, you have to look these different things up, okay? And become aware of it. If you have a choice, you always want to buy organic, and you have the 4 little digits on your food with the little PLU codes. There's a reason for that. When you scan it, it wants to know if it's organic or not. If it's organic, it's probably going to charge you more, right? So it does make a difference what the PLU code is. If there's a 9 in front of that, that means it's organic. If there's not a 9, it's either conventional, which means it has a seed, but probably has herbicides and pesticides on it, which is still a better choice, in my opinion, than GMO. And there's supposed to be a differentiation on the PLU codes, but the government has not mandated that yet. So therefore we don't necessarily know. Okay. So foods is a big one. Learning about your spices. If you have a big old bottle of Accent, that's straight MSG. If you eat Doritos, that has MSG. There's 26 different names for MSG. It is a neurotoxin. It affects people heavily. Some people you may be aware of it, some people you may not. It may be the whole reason for your behavior issues in your household and your family, or anger or depression, and the list just goes on. MSG is just, I would give up everything I know about Young Living, which I love, and all my products, just to have the information about monosodium glutamate and yeast extract and all the different names for it, even in organic foods, because that's what's changed our household and our family so greatly. So that's very important to me. You'll have a list for that as well if you don't know already. Alcohol and smoking, and of course recreational drugs, including vaping. Okay. You have to be aware that these things are dangerous. And let me just put my glasses on for 1 second. Per the American Cancer Society, which I'll give you a stat for that, alcohol is responsible for 6% of all cancer. 6% of all cancer. Like, that is amazing. Like, think about that. So I know people say they're drinking their wine for their heart health and whatever. Well, you may have a good heart, but if you die of cancer, it don't matter, right? So you really need to think about how you can limit that. Or if you drink every night a week, maybe go down to half the time. Maybe just have 1 drink a week, or maybe not have any drinks at all. You know, to me, that would be a better choice, of course, because I don't personally support alcohol, but that's really important. 1 out of 5 deaths from secondhand smoke. Just secondhand smoke, not to mention smoking in general. Okay, these are all stats from the American Cancer Society. This is something that any of you can go look up and you will see as well. So yes, 1 to 5%. There's over 700 chemicals that come out from secondhand smoke. 70 of those are carcinogenic. You have to be aware that everyone in the industry is totally aware of this information. But because of the laws, and this is what really makes me upset, because I didn't know this myself and I wasn't smart enough to look it up. When you have a package, I don't have a package right here, pretend this is Doritos or whatever you want. You're supposed to go read the fine ingredients here, okay, of your drinks, of whatever. Like, I just talked to a mom. She was giving her son Gatorade Zero. I said, that has artificial sweetener in it. She's like, oh, I had no idea. I said, yeah, they don't even put it on the front of the label anymore. You have to know how to read your labels because you are responsible for your health and your children's health, right? Or your family, people you care for and that you want to educate. And so I'm going to be posting next week the whole Lysol video, get that back going. But I have the recordings from the EPA and the FDA about Lysol, and it's a registered pesticide. You're like, oh my gosh. If it said registered pesticide on the front of the label, would you purchase it? Of course, the answer most likely is no for what you're using it for. We know if we use Raid, we're going to close our nose, make sure our kids and our dogs not around, and spray a spider, right? But Lysol, we've been using that, especially for the last 6 months, heavily, right? People have, I haven't. I used to own this stuff myself. So people have to become aware of the responsibility that the EPA and the FDA says, and I have it on recording. It's up to the consumer to read the warning labels to decide whether they want to use the product or not. It's very important that you have to do that with every single thing. I was trying to keep this 30 minutes, but I'm not quite sure. Okay, let me just start moving. You guys will have the information. We could have a class on each of these topics, and I could take an hour just doing that. So I'll try to keep going. So obviously, even if it's vaping, not a good choice. Smoking, not a good choice for you or anyone else. Alcohol, it will affect you, and hopefully you're not pregnant. And one last thing, I just had a blessing opportunity to talk to someone who wants to conceive children. And I said, boy, I'm so excited for you. I said, the best thing that you could do is pretend like you're not going to even think about having a child for the next 6 months. And then you do all this cleansing and detoxing and get your body cleaned out for all the things that you've done in the past, unknowingly, right? And then you can boost up your body with nutrition, overdose on nutrition, and then you can make sure your hormones are balanced, and then let's conceive a baby. Wouldn't that be a blessing to have a child that is born with 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 mouth, all the fingers and toes they're supposed to have with no issues? That would be a blessing, but that doesn't happen to the majority of us, okay? And so we have an opportunity with the knowledge to have that be a better opportunity that prayerfully that will happen, okay? Plastic bottles. We should not really be drinking out of plastic unless of necessity, okay? When I changed over, I just went and got, you can go to Bed Bath & Beyond or Kohl's with a coupon. I just got all Pyrex. And now they stack all nice. The lids are all the same. Makes your life a lot easier. I don't believe in the microwave, so just so you know, you shouldn't use that. If you have my book, you can read more about that there. But they used to call it a radar ranger. It is not something that's good for you. It does take out vitamins and minerals and enzymes out of the food, which are the essential reasons why you're eating those foods in the first place. So you don't want that. But when it comes to the Pyrex, you could put it in the microwave, you could freeze it, you could put it in the oven, you can serve in it and store it, right? So that's why it's such a nice thing. A few years ago, they changed all the baby bottles to be BPA free, which is not necessarily true, but whatever. Everyone saw that they tried to make a better choice with plastics, but they didn't go after Tupperware and Heinz ketchup and everything else because they don't want everyone mad at them. We just know that there's a problem with all the BPAs. We have all the studies to show it. We have to at least change the baby bottles to glass and to a number 7 BPA free. So the toxic plastics, if you're looking at a bottom of a bottle and it has a little triangle or a styrofoam cup, it should say a number in there, okay? If it has a 3, 6, or 7, those are bad plastics. You should not heat anything up in it. You shouldn't drink out of it. You shouldn't put it in the microwave, and you should definitely not consume anything out of it after you put it in a dishwasher. That's right, because if you're heating something up in a dishwasher, it's going to pull out or leach out the BPA. And my favorite dishware, because I had kids and all that kind of stuff, and you could buy cute things, was the melamine, like the stuff for campers and all that, and outside wear, let's say during the summer. They have so many beautiful things. You could use that as a serving tray if you hand wash it in cold water and never put it in a microwave or never put it in a dishwasher. But as soon as you put it in the microwave or put it in the dishwasher, it releases formaldehyde because that's what it's made of formaldehyde. We should not be consuming formaldehyde. Okay, so 3, 6, and 7s. One more thing on plastic. If it's styrofoam, if you just went to go get some food that's chemical free, right, and they put it in styrofoam, I always ask them to put wax paper in the bottom of it if that's an option. Or as soon as you get home, bring it out. I love our Sagano's, which is a Japanese restaurant, and I love their soup. But because of the whole COVID thing, of course, well, now they are, but they weren't letting people eat inside the restaurant, right? So when I order the soup, I literally bring, or as soon as I get home, I pour it into, a glass container. Like, I just did a video not too long ago. We went to the farmer's market to eat some food. I am not eating hot food out of plastic. I can't compromise and do this. Like, I know what it's doing when I'm doing it, and then I can't enjoy my food. So they gave it to me. I bring my own bowls. I pour it in there within less than 5 minutes of them cooking and preparing the food. And it's a better choice. Okay. We have to do what we can do to make a better choice. Okay. So that's on plastics. If you're going to have some ice cream out of a styrofoam cup, go for it. If you're having anything hot, even hot water in styrofoam, instantaneously leaches the phytoestrogens, the BPAs, and puts it right into your bloodstream. Synthetic estrogen for you and me. Very bad. So please don't eat anything out of styrofoam. That is like literally the worst if it's heated up. Okay. This one is important. I don't know where it is right now, but I have mascara on and I have lipstick. I used to love to wear mascara and lipstick. I have not worn it for about 12, well, I guess 11 and a half, 12 years, more 12 years, because there's all these contaminated chemicals in these things. And you have to realize that 99% of aggressive breast cancer, okay, for just specifically aggressive breast cancer tumors, is to do with parabens. And parabens, there's mollyparaben, biliparaben, there's like 10 different kinds, okay? It's in cereal, it's in Jennie-O sausage, it's in this, it's in all these different stuff, okay? And especially makeup and lotions and potions and what you put in your mouth, gargling and swallowing, brushing your teeth. So the title is Stop Dying to Be Beautiful, okay? Young Living provides chemical-free mascara and lipstick with no lead in it. So I'm excited that now I get to do those two things now. We have a whole other line. I just don't want to spend the time, nor do I know how to put on makeup to try to do the whole rest of the job. But I don't care about it. So what you want to be aware of is your skin is your largest organ. So whatever you put on your skin absorbs into your bloodstream from 20 seconds to 30 minutes completely throughout your whole bloodstream. And if you don't understand the concept, I want you to think about a pain patch, a birth control patch, a smoker's patch. All that is the big Band-Aid that you put somewhere on your skin. There is no needles in there stabbing you. It's just absorbing subdermally right into your skin, to your bloodstream, through your skin into your bloodstream. Okay? So if you're using everything we used to use back in the day, I mean, in my household, I had Vaseline, I had Palmer's cocoa butter, which was literally my favorite. I had Avon Skin So Soft. I had Bed and Bath, the cinnamon one. I mean, the list just goes on. We had Colgate and we had Aquafresh toothpaste, Crest, whatever. All these things are toxic, all of them. And the list goes beyond that, of course. Shampoos. And if you were just getting toxic mouthwash or toothpaste 5 days a week, whatever, maybe you could still, maybe you wouldn't get these illness and diseases, right? But just alone from that, and then putting on the lotion and then spraying hairspray, then using your conditioner and getting your perm and getting your relaxer and getting this and that and whatever, that's a problem. Now, I know everyone loves to dye their hair. So this is, if depending on what kind of hair you have, there's better choices with like, what's that stuff called? I know someone knows, but I can't even think about it right now. Henna, right? There's better choice hennas. And if you got the same color hair going on that you just want black or this or that, and they have some fun colors, then, that's a great choice. I did that for years and it definitely covers up gray. I'm just going natural now. I don't care anymore. It's too much work for me. I don't want to deal with it. But that's a better choice. There are some places that have chemical-free or better choice dyes. That's a better choice. Let's just say you go to the regular old salon because you want your hair how you want it and whatever. that's still a better choice to do that every 4 to 6 weeks, whatever it is, than to poison yourself with the makeup and the lotions and potions that you're putting on your skin, what you're using for your mouth, for gargling and swallowing, or toothpaste, and what you wash your hair with. Okay? So you still can have fun with that, but still make better choices in everywhere, other places. Everything we do and talk about is about making better choices just in general. Okay? So there. So we'll move forward. So number 5 is staying fit. This is a difficult one because, for some winter's coming, there's this, there's that. Maybe you have equipment in your house I have a shaking machine. That's like amazing for what that's supposed to do for you. Literally going for a walk to breathe in fresh air and oxygen and the negative ions, which is a good thing with the wind, the trees rustling, touching earth with trees and grass. We shouldn't just be having all this fake material on our body and shoes on and never touching earth. That's like grounding yourself, all these different kind of things. We need to be physically active. So if you just did 30 minutes a day of walking or dancing or push-ups or wall push-ups or knee push-ups or chasing your kids or the dogs or, whatever it is, walk around your house, go up and down your basement stairs, whatever the case is. If you just did 30 minutes 5 days a week and you get to a point where you're breaking a sweat, then you're being able to help release toxins and your body's getting the right circulation that it needs. I was just telling someone last night, and I'm touching my earrings because I have earrings on today. But before I go to bed, I always put my feet vertical, or a couple times during the day, I may do that. I'll just lay on my couch or the one bed or the floor or whatever, and I'll put my feet vertical. Because, if you're sitting or standing a lot, let's just have the opportunity for all the blood to flow the opposite way and give it a little push start. Using a trampoline, even if it's a mini trampoline that you can buy on Marketplace or on Amazon with a little rail if you need it. Just bouncing on that helps the lymphatic flow even better, which we'll talk about the lymphatic later. But that is a great exercise just in general. So whatever you do something, okay? You're responsible for that. I was just telling someone who watches TV often, mostly actually all day. I said, okay, so every commercial, stand up and then just do squats, right? Every commercial, or bend and try to touch your knees, get some toxic Campbell soup that you're going to throw away and do some, exercises with your arms, do something, okay? Do your feet where you go back and forth like this. That helps the lymphatic to push. We have to be moving our body, okay? We cannot expect to stay healthy and not become down with illness and disease if we're not going to move our body. It's just not going to happen. Okay, now we're going to talk a little bit about other possible carcinogens, and I'll post this link as well, and you can go research it for yourself. There's hundreds of drug recalls, and I'll just give you the top ones for things that you would know the names of. But losartan, which is a high blood pressure medicine, valsartan as well, metformin, which is for diabetes, Zantac for heartburn. All these have had recalls because of, it's called NDMA, which is N-nitrosodiethiamine something, whatever, right? Literally have recalls for these drugs. Now, this is the funny part that I sort of want to read to you, and I'm on the FDA.gov drug question and answers, okay? So it says important information about the NDMA impurities in metformin that are possible carcinogens, okay? They said, what should you do for this? How does the FDA test this? How come the FDA didn't know about this before? I'll post you this link. It's quite fascinating to read. And they said, well, whatever you do, don't stop taking it until you talk to your doctor about it. So they're still selling the medication that has the problem until the doctor puts you on a better choice medication. It was a voluntary recall that the manufacturer let the FDA know about, but the FDA is not mandating the stop selling of this drug. Do you get what I'm saying? This is like, it's like this, it's up to, the FDA doesn't monitor, they monitor it if someone has reported a problem and there's a known problem, then they'll look into it and tell people what they need to do, but they give them a huge time frame or years to change this. The meantime, the drugs are still being sold, but who would know that? And so if when you go to your pharmacist and you get this big laundry list of your meds, you have to read the side effects of what these things are. And some of these words are big and they don't really say cancer or this or that. So you got to go research them for yourself. And you're like, holy Toledo. It says, how does metformin, how do we know metformin has been recalled? You have to go to the FDA to confirm that. So you're just going to go to the FDA with all your drugs. What should I do with my metformin? Don't stop taking until your doctor gives you a new prescription of a different kind of medication. Metformin is one of the biggest ones out there. And there's so many different kinds of metformin. Most of them are all on this drug recall, which is crazy. Well, the FDA posts the testing method, how they found out it's carcinogenic. They said, sure, yeah, we'll do that. When's that going to happen? Because the FDA is not testing for that. It's up to the drug manufacturer to test for that and then release the information. So why would they release all that information? I mean, it's just a hot mess. So we want to be aware. And this chemical as well is found in foods, which I forgot to mention, especially tobacco products, cured meat such as bacon or fermented foods, beers. It can be in shampoo, cleaners, and especially when it comes into the heavy nitrates, which is a huge thing that we're trying to avoid, which will be on the chemical cheat sheet list that I will print out for you, or post for you so you can print out for yourself. So being aware of the drugs that are in our everyday product or that we're taking perhaps unknowingly. If you're taking a drug, which I'm not a doctor and I'm not here to give you advice on what you should do, it's between you and your doctor, okay? But if you're going there and you're pre-diabetic, should you just take the pill or should you change your lifestyle and your diet, right? Because maybe save the pill if you need it really bad later on in life. But if you can stop eating ho-hos and ding-dongs and drinking a lot of soda and eating a lot of foods and fried foods and the bad fats like peanut oil and canola oil and all those things, vegetable oil, if you can stop consuming those things and better your chances and lower your A1C naturally with just changing your diet and exercising, what they say you can do, wouldn't that be a better choice? And then you wouldn't have to get on a medication that can cause cancer or have other side effects. That's the goal, is to become your own health advocate and research for yourself. That's what I did. And I know this for a fact because I was on antibiotics for 17 years straight because there was nothing else that you could do. And I was full of prescription and over-the-counter medicines, and they were used heavily, in our household for my children, for my husband, for myself, for a myriad of different issues. And I'm so happy to announce that we have not used prescriptions or store-bought medicines, not even Tylenol or Motrin, in over 13 years for a family of 4. So that's not just because we're cute and special and we live in Flint, Michigan, right? That's because of what we're doing and how we're taking care of ourselves. So that can be done for anybody, okay? Okay, I'm going to hurry up and try to finish this here. I'm getting really behind. So resist synthetic hormone therapy. This is where you really need to do your research. Okay, birth control has been proven. Where's my birth control facts here? Oh my goodness, now I'm missing it. I just got the new stats last night. I may have to come back to you on that because where is it? Birth control, Dr. Purser, Dan Purser, he's an endocrinologist, has fantastic information on this. Taking birth control increases your risk of cancer, okay? And let's see, girls under 18 who use birth control have a 500% increased risk of dying of breast cancer in their lifetime. Also, taking one birth control adds 10 years of increased risk. Taking one birth control pill, I took them for years. And this is why I'm very proactive, because I've already had 2 bouts of the breast issue. But I got on birth control when I was 13 when I started my period, because I didn't know this then, but I had a huge deficiency in progesterone. which my mom did as well, but didn't know about any of the stuff back then, right? And so because of all my period pain and having to take 2,800 of Motrin a day for like the first 3 days and all the issues I had, the doctor put me on birth control. I don't know any difference. My mom doesn't know any better. And so you just do what you do. And I took that until I got married, which was so 13 to 24 years old. Okay, so I have a great chance of increasing my risk of breast cancer, even though I've had my genetic markers tested and I don't have it genetically. It doesn't matter. Remember, only 5 to 10% of all people with all cancers have genetic cancer. It's up to 95% of all cancer is on lifestyle and environment for all ages, races, and genders. So it's really important that we are proactive and not let this take a strong hold over our body and then become in fear and then make decisions that maybe otherwise we would not make out of fear. And then there we go, right? So it creates a lot of inflammation in the body. So girls 18 and under who are on birth control have a 500% increase of dying of breast cancer. That is very scary. JAMA study, JAMA, found that 40% increase of the risk of depression in women just after 6 months of using a hormonal contraceptive. And I'm telling you, Provera and Depo-Provera, that stuff made me like crazy when I first took it back in the day, because of course I did everything medical. I believed in nothing natural. So I went through everything that they have put me through the years for that kind of stuff. That stuff, it had me wanting to physically kill an ant on purpose and then wanting to have a funeral for it, like making a little box and a burial. Okay, so this is stuff that we need to really be aware that if you have a loved one or a child or a wife or a mother or daughter, whatever the case is, a sister, that you find is acting a little nutsy and she's not usually that way, what has she been doing? Is she taking something new? Antidepressants, birth control, hormones, you got to figure this out because these synthetic hormones really can play a number on you. And plus, on the same point, they're still even bioidentical, which would be a better choice than a blanket prescription for some kind of hormone balancing, is still a synthetic one. People think it's natural. It's not natural. What bioidentical means is they did your blood work. They said, oh, you need more of this and this, so we'll give you that in a blanket pill, unless they test you on a regular basis. It's just a better choice than just getting the birth control or some other hormone. It's a better choice for you if that's the two choices. It's still not the best choice. The best choice is to do that with your diet and learning what you can do naturally to help support these things. What's so fascinating is that you can't even make hormones if you don't have enough good fats in your diet and you don't have enough vitamin D. Vitamin D and good fats help make hormones for male and female. But if you're not sunbathing, you could have a sports bra or something on, but topless, 20 minutes on each side for females, and males, you just go out topless, 20 minutes on each side every single day, then there's no way naturally you can, by the sun, get the amount of vitamin D that you need on a daily basis. The average adult needs anywhere from 4,000 to 6,000 IUs. You can give it to infants, 400 IUs. There's children that have certain ages for 1,000, and then it can go to 2,000. And then as they become older, they get the same amounts as we get. It's very important. You can have that tested by your doctor. That the values are usually 80 to 100. Depending on which lab you go to and whatever, right? But if you're at 30, which most people are like 26, 16, 30, you're way off. And if you just start taking 4,000 a day, now you got enough for your ankles. You need to overdose on that. You need to fill up your body with the vitamin D you need, get to the maintenance level of where you should be, and then you can do 4,000 IUs a day if you're an adult, for example. So it's learning about these kinds of things that can help you greatly. Okay, where are we at? Number 6. We're going to have to go over lymphatic. We'll go over lymphatic tomorrow. Let's see. Obviously, we sort of talked about it, but, antioxidants, making sure you have good, nutritious vitamins and minerals that you're taking. If you don't eat them, you need to supplement them. If you're really low, you need to supplement them until you can maintain and then go off your diet of what you're consuming. The right foods, the colorful foods, of course, greens and yellows and reds, and just all that kind of stuff that has nutrients in it, right? The big antioxidants. Um, you need to make sure you have quality vitamins and minerals. Of course, if you're buying it at Walmart and Target, and if you're buying it at Walgreens in the dollar store, why in the world would you think that this is sound nutritional vitamins? Like, seriously, you got to look at this. They have talc in it. They have titanium dioxide in it. They could have a whole bunch of soy in it. People bring me their vitamins and stuff all the time. I'm like, okay, to me, there's a best choice. Then there's some other better choices. But buying anything for 2 for 1 from Walgreens, like someone just brought me their magnesium, and it literally had talc in it, which is on the American Cancer Society website, is causing cancer. It has titanium dioxide, which is ground up metal in it, and it had propylene glycol, which is a low tox antifreeze. What in there makes it a sound magnesium vitamin? Nothing. Okay, so if they're going to compromise and put those things in it, the rest of it you should not even take, because those things, now you're going to have metal poisoning. You know what I mean? It's just not worth it. So loving your breasts, we'll go over this. I use a roller every single day that I use on my breast, but we'll be going over that later on, just to keep myself healthy. It smells good. Makes for the best smelling breast if you're into that. I don't know. But there's a blend of oils I just love with, and I like one of my friends, she loves the smell of patchouli. I don't really like the smell of patchouli, but I use like lemongrass, patchouli, and frankincense, and orange. Like the combination of that smells fantastic. And I just always rub that on my body just in general, right? Because there's things that you can do. It can help support your bodies just in the way that it needs, and it smells fantastic. Managing your stress. I just made this thing for a Canadian group the other day. And so this is like a little list that you can print off and make sure that there's like a list of things that you can do every day to help manage your stress. And so I'll be posting that for you, but you have to be aware that stress is the number one cause for illness and disease. We have to learn how to manage our stress. You can pray, you can meditate, you can go for a walk, making sure you're drinking water. I love using peace and calming every day. I only have 3 pieces of carpet in this house that I live in, but my dogs only like to throw up and poop on carpet. I'm just like, what in the world, right? So you just never know what's going to happen that day, whether it's real stress or fake stress. Your body does not know. This is really important to realize. Your body does not know if you're in Afghanistan in a bunker with 20 other people with a puddle of mud water and a Snickers, and there's bombs going off all over, and you've already been there for 5 days, and you don't know when you're going to get out and if anyone's going to find you, right? That's stress, okay? So it doesn't know if you're underneath that kind of stress, or if you just don't know what to make for dinner, or the tree just fell down in front of you, or a spider scared you, or you're watching TV, like a football game, and you're yelling at the TV, or if you're playing a video game. This is why I really don't like the video games. If you see your kids getting like all tensed up and like frustrated, definitely not a good situation, because all this excess cortisol is going through their body. Their body thinks they're in Afghanistan in a bunker and scared and trying to stay alive. It doesn't know they're just playing a video game, okay? So you want to become aware of your stressors, have a family meeting, figure out how you can manage them in a better way. Take whatever you need to take, hopefully naturally, making sure you have the nutrients you need so your cells aren't looking. If your cells are full of nutrients, like let's say like a piece of pie, if they're full, they're not going to be looking for other things. But if you have like 3 slices out and you smoke a cigarette, you're going to want another one. If you drink some alcohol or some soda, it has some white sugar, you're going to want some more. And of course, other substances as well, right? So you want to make sure that your body, your cell is full, where there's no missing pie pieces out of it. And then other substances won't seem so appetizing or pleasing. Because remember, there's 9,000 taste buds. I think it's 9,000 taste buds in your mouth that go to your brain, that tell you a stimuli that you want something. If you want a cigarette, or if you want some sugar or a soda, your mouth is out and say, Stacey, can you go get me a cigarette? And I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll go get you one. It's your brain saying it because it remembers the stimuli, the feeling you had from it. Your cells are like overstimulated. Okay. So we have to get control of the brain. Okay. So, wow, this is 50 minutes. I'm so sorry. People said I would not be able to do this in a timely fashion, and I guess they were right. I really thought I could, but apparently I can't. So, number 11, we'll just go here, and this will be the last thing. Know your levels. Okay, this is part of you taking responsibility for your health. You have to go into your doctor. They're there to manage your health. So you can say, hey, doc, my dad did this. Okay. And my dad's doctor is fantastic, like his cardiologist. My dad, if you guys don't, if you never heard this or whatever, he literally died. He was dead for a total of 8 minutes. He was in a coma. They had to freeze him. They had to defrost him. He went from no medication to 14 prescriptions, overnight in the hospital, right? All these different kinds of things. And I told the doctor, I said, listen, when my dad comes out of this, will you be willing to do blood work? Because obviously if he has a heart issue, his testosterone has to be low, right? If he has a heart issue, his cholesterol, he must have a lot of lousy or LDL cholesterol and not enough HDL, which is the happy or the good cholesterol. There's things happen in our body for a reason. If you don't have enough proteins, water, amino acids, vitamins, minerals, hormones, good fats, okay? If you don't have enough of those and you have a saturation of chemicals from whatever way they came into you, you're going to have a problem in your body, okay? That's just what it is. Unless you're one of the few that just have a genetic disposition that is just going to happen, okay? Most things can be corrected by lifestyle changes. So back to the doctor and my dad. I said, would you be willing when my dad comes out of this to do a vitamin D test and cholesterol and his hormone panel with the DHEA and testosterone and estrogens? And I gave him a whole list of stuff. And he said yes. And I was like, thank you, Jesus. My dad came out of it. I went to the doctor with my dad. The doctor did all that blood work. He's like, wow, he's pretty low. I'm like, yeah. He's like, testosterone is very important for the heart health. I'm like, yes. I said, I wish you would test everyone, but I'm so thankful that you tested my father, so I'm not going to complain, right? A man's testosterone should be 800 to 1200, but most men that get tested are in the 300s and 400s. I mean, and you need testosterone for a good heart. We need testosterone. We need progesterone for a good heart. We need progesterone so that, like what they just say, 80% is a lack of progesterone in the body. That's like why we have cancer. That's huge. So knowing your levels, per the AMA, your doctor is only allowed, this is a quote, only allowed to treat illness and disease. So this is why you have to be, they say that there's no cure for illness and diseases. You have to remember that the government owns the name for all these diseases. That's why we can't talk about them and tell you exactly what I did for everything I did in my life, right? On this form. So you want to talk to your doctor about you're making lifestyle changes, you're walking, you're drinking more water, you're not drinking soda. You would like to see doctor if he could help monitor your health and boost up your cholesterol the way it should be with a good HDL and a low LDL and this and that and working with your blood sugar and your blood pressure and all these different things, right? If he would monitor or she would monitor your health and make those lifestyle changes so that you can get off prescriptions if that's acceptable, so that you don't have all the side effects, like all these side effects for all these drugs that have cancer-causing drugs or carcinogens, which is cancer-causing elements in these drugs that you're taking for high blood pressure, blood sugar, and of all things, acid reflux. Okay? So there's a list of things which I'll post this, learning your cholesterol, your A1C, which is your blood sugar. Your sodium levels are very important. Sodium is important for you, just not white salt and not white sea salt. That's another whole class. Vitamin D is important, your C-reactive protein levels, your cortisol by a spit test, and you do it 3 times a day, your progesterone, your estradiol, your DHEA, your free testosterone, your testosterone, your TSH, T3, free T4, all those are very important. When you just get your thyroid test and they just do TSH, you're like, oh, you're human and you're alive, right? You need the other test to help you get a balanced thing. You need to learn how to read these numbers so you can just be aware, or just get your blood work. I was just helping someone the other day. She showed me her blood work, and oh my goodness, like it had high on all these things. I said, well, did your doctor tell you you're diabetic? She's like, no, they didn't tell me anything. I said, well, you have an 8.2 A1C. That means you're diabetic. You better start running, walking, changing your lifestyle, or go get some drugs, because you need to do something, because your blood sugar is very high. And so she's like, well, I guess they just forgot to tell me. I'm like, well, that's not something we should be forgetting about, right? So anyhow, moving forward, let me just see what tomorrow holds. Is talking about our lymphatic system, about mammograms, about radiation, about thermoscans, knowing who, knowing why, who and what you're supporting, and practicing self-exams. Okay, so thank you so much for your time. I will get these links in here for you, and then look forward to tomorrow at 1 o'clock, same place, same time. Thank you all. I'll try to get all your questions answered, or links for those supporting information. Have a blessed day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Am I still live? Hello. Hello, Facebook. I hope everyone. I think I'm still live and I don't even know. Is that true, Facebook? Let's see. I have to learn how to do these things here.